sister, come out and play!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host. I'm joined as always by
BC.
And no BB this week. BB is on assignment, and our keyboard player tonight is
your March Madness champion, Dylan Wright.
He's got to get it going already. Okay. And we have a special returning guest straight from the Monsters of Rock cruise, Mr. Stephen Michael.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I am fan-freaking-tastic.
Excellent, excellent. And as I just alluded to, you were on the Monsters of Rock cruise a couple weeks ago with your illustrious co-host on the Growin Up Rock Podcast, Sonny Pooney. And how was that?
Growin Up Rock was in full effect on the Monsters of Rock cruise. We were pirating and scavenging and pillaging rock stars left and right. It was unbelievable.
How many more protection from abuse or stalking things do you guys have on you after this cruise?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. At one point, I saw some of the Royal Caribbean guards escort Pooty away while he was saying, but I just needed to talk to him. And Kotzen had this look in his eye like, who the hell is this guy? And then it like a little bit later on in the ship, I saw Jeff Scott Soto. He was hiding his face in the corner of the cafe when Pooty walked by. So I don't know what that means. Take that for whatever it means on your own. But that all I'm saying is that was going on. So, you know.
That's awesome. So you guys had an awesome time. I listened to your guys' epic episode that you guys put out after you guys got back, and I faithfully listened to the episode, and it was great. Seems like you guys had a great time there. Saw a shitload of bands, and just had a great time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like no other vacation, and I'll call it a vacation, but I'll be honest in saying it wasn't a vacation at all. Like, it was completely nonstop from start to finish. But it was like no other time. I mean, it was a floating festival, but the entire time you're people watching, because the entire time all these bands that are performing, which I think there were 53 some odd bands that are performing, were just walking around the ship. So, I mean, it was nothing to sit out at breakfast across from the guys at Eclipse, or at one point I think we either had breakfast or had lunch, and sitting literally within arm's reach next to us at the table was Gary Sharon, Michael Wagner, and Pat Badger from Extreme.
Oh, cool.
So I mean, it's just weird stuff like that going on, you know, so it's just kind of surreal. And let me tell the listeners, if I sound stuffed up right now, it's because I literally have 2 wooden splits shoved up my nostrils right now. So yes, I am sounding stuffed up, but it's for good reason. So it's all good.
It's all good. Yeah, and like you said, it's and I can definitely equate that to the Kiss cruise. It is not really a vacation because you are just constantly on the go, going to shows and talking to people, and there's not a lot of downtime, but it's great. So if you want a vacation, go on a regular cruise. If you want to just rock out and not have any downtime and just party, that is one of the ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, our normal schedule is literally probably up till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, because the last band usually played at around 12:15. And then we got, went back to the cabin, went to sleep, got back up around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and, bands started playing at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So,
Yep, it's just you hit the reset button and do it all over again.
yeah, that's it. No, I mean, you could stay up around the clock if you wanted to, because there's stuff going on well after the bands are done playing. There's this karaoke thing where all the bands get together and, I guess people like the guy from Kix is, singing cover songs or something, whatever.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. I'm sure some of the combinations they get into that are just insane. As far as Growin Up Rock's going on, how you guys making out there? And actually, I just listened to your guys' XYZ episode the other day, and it was funny. There were times where I was just like laughing my ass off listening to those guys talk and stuff. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we had a lot of relationships and things that were formed at the Monsters of Rock cruise that will have episodes coming out that were from relationships that we formed on the Monsters of Rock cruise. That whole Monsters of Rock cruise really kind of blew up our show. And, we were doing steady numbers and showing good growth and everything. But when that thing came along, it kind of blew up things. It started with the Ty Tabor interview that we did from King's X. For whatever reason, that thing exploded. And maybe it's because they shared it, he shared it. That always helps when the artist gets behind.
Right.
We're there for the artist and they're there for us. It's kind of a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The whole reason that we want to interview an artist is A, because we like them, but B, because we want to help promote whatever it is they're doing. And so it only makes sense that the artist would want to take that promotion that they spent the time doing. If you're going to spend time doing an interview with me, wouldn't you want to share that with all your social media so that it does the job,
Absolutely, yeah. Get your name out there more. So we're glad you guys are kicking ass. And yeah, and the day this episode comes out, we will be going to see Kiss on the End of the Road tour. BC, myself, Dylan, and my wife, Chris Granza and Rob that have been on the show, and we got a busload of people going down to Philadelphia from the Scranton area to go see Kiss. So it's going to be awesome.
I mean, it's a great show. You guys are going to enjoy the show. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the last hurrah, so I've seen bits and pieces, but I try not to watch anything. So
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't
He's
know.
trying to contain himself.
No, I'm excited. It's going to be cool seeing them again. I haven't seen them in a while, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. And actually, today, the day you're listening to this, if you're listening to it on the day it comes out, is my wife's birthday. I just want to say happy birthday. I love you. And thanks for putting up with me and all this kind of stuff. Even though she doesn't listen, but it's still out there.
40?
Huh?
40 years old?
She's going to be 40. Absolutely. It's good. Then that means I'm going to be 39 next birthday. Awesome.
Happy birthday to the person that puts up with your shit.
She deserves it, believe me. She deserves it, absolutely. For sure.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah. Before we get going, let's real quick, what are we listening to these days? Steven, I'm sure you're probably listening to a bunch of bands that were on the Monsters of Rock cruise. What do you got going?
I've kind of moved on for the most part. I listened to a lot of that stuff leading up to the cruise, but now I'm listening to the new Tora, which just came out. I'm listening to the new Queensryche, so I guess, yeah, technically I am still listening to shit that's on the cruise, but only because they put out new records recently. And I'm listening to the new Pen Machine record, because I got an advanced copy of that. And that's pretty good.
Yeah, and actually, the night that we're recording this is coming out tomorrow.
The record?
Yes, of the End Machine, yeah. Dylan, how about you?
Well, I was listening to Judas Priest today, but I was also listening to Metallica's self-titled album as a victory lap from the March Madness episode.
Boy, we can't let that die.
Well, you said you were going to comment on it this episode, so I'm trying to egg you in that direction.
Oh, okay. I forgot I said that. I will.
You did. You said it. Yeah, but I was listening to Priest today. Just like a mix. I think they finally ended up getting, what's the album that Victim of Changes is on? Sad Wings
Sad Wings of Destiny.
I think that finally got on Apple Music.
Oh, did it?
So I was listening to a little bit of that, and that was really great.
Yeah, that's a good album. How about you, BC?
Literally 2 hours before recording this, I forced myself to take the Dream Theater out of the player, and I put the Queensryche The Verdict in, so I have to listen to something different.
What's the verdict on The Verdict?
I know, like 2-3 songs in, so I like it. I think they're back in their game now.
I like that album. I actually now have two copies of that on vinyl because things got messed up, and my wife ended up ordering one for me. Thank you very much. And then I ended up ordering one myself on eBay. So now I have two. One's gonna stay. One was open, and one's gonna stay sealed.
I'm still confused about why you went to eBay for it instead of FYE, where they were actually selling the limited edition.
I got the limited edition too.
Yeah, because Mom bought it.
No. From eBay too.
Yeah, but it was more expensive.
It was
if
a little
you
more
actually
expensive.
ordered it from the store they sold it from.
I know.
I walked in that day and it was just happened to be there. I'm like,
It's
I was-
and it was like $23.
23 something, yeah.
It was like cheap. I mean, for like a
The limited edition.
limited edition.
Yeah. But on the limited edition, none of them are numbered. It says limited to 500. Usually it gives you 22 or 500, whatever, but none of them are numbered, which is weird. Okay, and for me myself, I've been listening. I've been a little Iron Maiden kick. I've been listening to Somewhere in Time a lot, and I've been listening to Killers a lot. And Killers is named perfect. That is a fucking killer album.
Yeah.
And I've just been kind of rocking out to Maiden. I've been listening to the 30th. I think it's the 30th anniversary of Blow My Fuse. The one that they just put out is remastered, and they have all the demos and stuff on there, which is really cool.
Kicks, not Iron Maiden.
Kicks. I'm sorry, Kicks. Blow My Fuse.
I bought that Kicks 30th reblown on the ship and had all of them sign it.
That's cool.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Yeah, and all right, so before we get moving, Dylan, I will address the March Madness thing because last time we recorded, I had only listened to half of it. BC, you fucking boned me. You could have went with your boy. You could have went with me with Ozzy, but you went with Metallica that had all the ballads and shit on it. But that's okay. That's okay.
All the ballad. There's one ballad on it.
No, there's not. There's two.
Ozzy
There's
has
the Unforgiven and something else, and that other stupid one.
nothing else. I don't think the Unforgiven's really a ballad.
That's a ballad.
All right, break it up.
That's a ballad.
Break it up.
Anyway, thanks, BC. But I do have to say, 2 out of my 3 albums made it to the final 4.
Yeah, and I argued.
That's all I gotta say.
very
And if
passionately
Dylan didn't boot Kiss Unplugged out of there, that probably would have fucking won. And I think he did that because he saw my bracket. I filled my bracket out, and I had Kiss Unplugged winning.
No.
So I think that because he saw that before they recorded.
Here's the thing.
So the fix was in.
Kiss Unplugged. I'm surprised you didn't call foul the moment that BB suggested it be on the list because it's a live album. It's basically a greatest hits album. So it's unfair going up against these original albums that are all original material, new material, and those are just covers of songs they've done previously.
There were 2 hits on that album. Beth and Rock and Roll All Night. Kiss doesn't have any hits. They have songs that people like.
Okay.
But there's no fucking
But
hits.
the point stands. It's a live album. It was a compilation from other different albums. So they were able to get the best of multiple worlds, whereas the other albums that were in the bracket, hey, they had to stand on their own.
I just went for the talent that was showcased.
Can I be a tiebreaker here now that it's over? Let me just be a tiebreaker.
Let me guess how this is going to go. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Dylan's 100% right.
Thank you.
It's a greatest hits, and it's a rehashed. It's acoustic. You guys all love this record because you're tied to it emotionally. Let's face it.
Hey, that wasn't one of my picks though. That was BB put it out there.
I don't know. I don't think it should be on the list. I think the only thing that should be on those brackets and on those lists should be original studio album.
I totally agree, but it was there. Dylan was in charge of that episode, so
Okay, well, you know what?
I kind of have to,
I'm
put
not
that
in
on
charge
to
of the
Dylan.
podcast.
God damn it.
I was on vacation, people. All right, but it was a fun episode. It was really good.
It's the Black Album.
And I could have flipped a coin for either one.
Yeah,
But
No More Tears is great.
I got to say, 2 of my 3 made it to the Final Four, which I was happy with that.
Yep.
So I was the first loser, I guess.
What was Blood of the Nations the other one?
Blood of the Nations, yeah. That went further than I thought it was going to go.
That's an awesome album.
That is a kick-ass album. That is. And you're going to be hearing more about that in the upcoming weeks also. All right, so let's take a quick break and we'll do some news.
Hey, fellas, have you heard the news?
All right, this week in the news, you guys, nothing earth-shattering, just a couple of little tidbits here and something that's rather timely. John Corabi has made some comments that he is always going to be just like a footnote. And
Avoiding saying the word that he used entirely.
I am asterisk.
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 God, I feel like BC
It's
now.
like asterisk.
Asterisk. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
That was my BC moment of the news, by the way. Yeah, he said that it kind of gave a brief overall of how he got in the crew and kind of how he just was jamming with those guys, and he got called back for a second thing, and he thought for a second like tryout, and he thought he was just going to be kind of like, okay, thanks for stopping by. So then he said, well, let's write something, and they ended up writing Hammered, which is one of the best songs in the '94 Crew album. Fucking kicks ass. And he just kind of basically said that he had a great time with those guys, and he actually even said that Vince is the singer of Motley Crue.
It's true. Vince is the Motley Crue singer, but John Corabi is currently still in his vocal prime, whereas Vince, unfortunately, is not
so much.
But John Corabi was an amazing. If he is a footnote or an asterisk, he was an amazing, a really good one, because that solo album, I'll call it a solo album, but the
94.
the 94 album was really good and different for the band. And hey, we might be covering it on a future episode, not too far into the future.
You may hear about it very soon.
Yes.
But the thing is, and he says in there too that there's some Crew fans, and this includes myself, that absolutely love that album, and there's other fans that won't even listen to it because Vince isn't on there, which I think is unfair. And that's another one of those albums that BC and I have talked about many times, that if you don't think of it as that band, and you can get away from that it's not the original singing guy,
Yeah.
it's really good, like the Quiet Riot album with Paul Shortino, stuff like that. But John Corabi's kick-ass. He's a super nice guy, nice humble guy, cool guy to talk to, and you'll hear more about him coming up soon.
Yeah.
And another thing, I'd say 3-4 months ago, when Ace Frehley dumped his band of Richie Scarlett, Chris Wise, and Scott Coogan, and brought in the younger guys, Phil Souse and Jeremy Asbrock and Ryan Cook, and so he kind of jettisoned those guys, and now Richie is doing stuff with Todd Howarth and John Regan, and Scott Coogan is now named the new drummer in LA Guns.
Oh, okay.
So, and the guy that they had in there, it was, they parted on good terms, and he just said that he had an opportunity come up that he couldn't refuse. So Scott Coogan's in there now, kick-ass drummer, and he's a guy, excellent drummer, very professional. He's played with tons of people, and he's a guy that was just going to land on his feet.
Yeah. Now, speaking of LA Guns, I heard that the LA Guns playing at M3 is not the LA Guns. Is that correct?
I don't know. I heard that it was going to be a Steve Riley version of LA Guns with him and some other dudes, so we're going to have to report back on that. And but LA Guns is just a total kick-ass band, and they're a band that we're just so happy to see them back with Phil Lewis and Tracy Guns, because those two guys they belong together.
Yeah, I like I said the last time, I'm not a giant LA Guns fan, but I'm gonna have to bone up.
They're great. So, and like I said, BC and I got to see them at the Sleazy Slimy Sunday last year, and it was just like, oh my God, this is what LA Guns should be. So, and with another, and nothing against the drummer that they had, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he was kick-ass too. He was really, really good, and it's not going to be any fall off in talent with Scott Coogan in there, because he kicks ass also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one more quick thing here. King Diamond, they just had an article out with him that he was discussing the actually next 2 albums that he's working on, and they're going to be one story in 2 albums, and it's going to be, and I guess they're building the concert set around the concept of the album. He won't say like what it actually is or the title or anything like that, but it sounds like it's going to be really cool. He said it's going to be like very gruesome, very King Diamond, what you're used to for King Diamond, and he even threw Abigail's name in there somewhere. So it's going to be very interesting what he has coming up.
It's going to be interesting. His stories are always pretty fucked up and gruesome, and who knows? Maybe he'll steal some stuff from Motley Crue, just like Kiss is doing for his stage show.
Yeah, everybody's borrowing off of the Crew,
Yeah.
But so that's about it. So hope you guys checked out The Dirt on Netflix. We have. You'll hear our commentary coming up soon. Get out there if you get a chance to see LA Guns with Phil Lewis and Tracy Guns and now Scott Coogan. Definitely go check them out. They fucking kick ass. King Diamond. I'll give it to BC. King Diamond.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get back into the show, guys. Okay, welcome back from the news. Hope it was very informative for you guys. I know it was for me. How about you, BC? Did you enjoy that?
I love the news.
Steven, how about you?
I hate all news.
Come on.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Yeah, baby.
All right. Dylan, how about you? Was the news good this week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, this week we're going to talk about who, BC?
Twisted Sister.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
you dropped the ball.
I'm trying to keep
BC, who are we talking about today?
Twisted fucking Sister.
There we go.
There we go. There we
I was
go.
trying to keep it G.
Yeah, we haven't done an episode about these guys yet, and and the sad thing about doing this episode about Twisted Sister tonight is it was BB's idea to do it, and he's not here this evening. And by the way, he's actually not on assignment. He's having dinner with his family, celebrating his son Colin's 17th birthday. Happy birthday, CB. We love you, buddy. And hope you guys went somewhere good, and I hope your father paid the bill for everybody. And so what we're going to do is we're all going to pick just one of our favorite songs from each Twisted Sister album. We're going to talk about it and maybe argue and see whose song sucks. Although it's Twisted Sister. There's not too many shitty songs, though. But first album we're going to... Oh, go ahead.
There are a handful.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple that are like, okay, yeah, sure, that's a Twisted Sister song.
And I picked all of them.
And Dylan picked all the ballads.
I picked. Was it okay if I picked the Dee Snider acoustic version of "We're Not Gonna Take It"?
Oh
Was that
God,
okay?
that's
With the piano version.
that makes you want
I
to
was
jump
gonna
up
say
a
piano.
bridge.
Yeah, the piano version.
Yeah, Steven, did you ever hear that?
No, I can't say I did. Thank
Oh,
God.
really?
It's
Oh,
something.
you have to. You have
got
to.
to.
That's your homework assignment for this episode.
As part of my homework assignment, because I knew we were doing this episode, I went today and rewatched. I mean, it's like the third or fourth time I watched that documentary, but I watched the documentary on Netflix, which is a great documentary if nobody's seen it yet.
Yeah, we're Twisted fucking Sister.
Right,
Yeah.
that's the one where it goes from the club days up to when they.
Yeah,
Right.
and they go in depth with
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Even if you're not a fan of Twisted Sister, it's a great documentary to watch because basically gives you the rundown of the band. So
It is. I really like how that Twisted Sister was essentially J.J. French's band, and Dee Snider, when he joined, he pretty much took the band over.
Yeah.
yeah,
and you could tell the difference because they play some of the songs. Hey, and the good thing about this documentary is they can actually play Twisted Sister music on this show because there's some documentaries out there where like the one from Bang Tango, they can't play any Bang Tango music on it. It's because they don't own anything.
yeah.
So which is really weird, but go ahead.
I wish that Disco Sucks song was on one of the albums because that's a catchy song.
It was.
I
It
hate
was.
disco music.
Isn't that on one of the Club Days ones, Dylan or BC?
I was looking. I didn't see
Is
it.
that no? Did you
Because
look at the Club Days ones?
I looked at the track listing on Wikipedia. I didn't see anything.
Oh, really? That was a
remotely
decent song. Because that was a single I think they put out, wasn't it?
Because they were really against disco back in the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were right in the middle of that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that was like a big thing then.
And I find it very interesting that they were basically used by clubs as almost like a wrecking ball band, where they would bring in the band to close out these clubs and
Right.
like,
Our last show wherever is going to be Twisted Sister.
fans would demolish the place.
Yeah, we won't have to pay the demolition company that much to tear the friggin' place down because it'll be destroyed on the inside to begin with. All right, let's first album, Under the Blade, kick-ass album, came out September 18th, 1982. Produced by Pete Way from UFO, was one of the producers on there, Mark Mendoza and Dee Snider. And such a raw-sounding album. And then remember when they put out didn't they redo this or something too? Isn't this one of the ones that they remixed some of the stuff and it sounded like shit?
Yeah, it was in the 85, I want to say.
Yeah.
Let me look real quick.
It sounded like crap. It was terrible.
1985 remix.
Yeah, it was so like it pussified it. It took away the rawness. It took away the edge of it. So if you're looking for the real deal, pick up the original version of Twisted Sister Under the Blade, because it's such a raw album. And Steven, what's your thoughts on this album?
Yeah, it's actually my introduction to Twisted Sister, and I have the original version, the raw version. I like this record a lot. I mean, this is what got me into the band, so I totally dig this record.
This probably was my third Twisted Sister album to get, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. First was Stay Hungry.
Oh, was it really?
Then I went to You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, because back then money was tight, so
You had to pick and choose what you picked up?
I had to pick and choose, and I kind of liked the song titles a little bit, but then I picked up Under the Blade. I was like, to me, my two favorite are Under the Blade and You Can't Stop Rock and Roll.
Oh, I watched, absolutely. Dylan, how
I
many?
agree.
Yeah, this was actually most of these albums was the first time I listened to front to back. Growing up, you would always hear, "We're not going to take it. I want to rock" on the radio. And actually, funny story about I Want to Rock. So the cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants had a movie called the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, and
It's original.
There was it's a weird movie. Like David Hasselhoff is in it, like live action David Hasselhoff.
Does he eat a hamburger off the floor?
No, but he's
Or a Krabby Burger?
he,
Krabby Burgers, right?
Krabby Patty.
Krabby Patty.
And he swims like SpongeBob and Patrick to safety as like a bounty hunter played by Alec Baldwin is trying to kill them. Really weird. But back to the thing that's actually connected. There's a cover of I Want to Rock in it, but the lyrics are changed to I'm a Goofy Goober Rock.
Okay.
Because there's a plot line through the thing that like SpongeBob and Patrick are trying to grow up and like you're obsessed with this fun kids place called like, and like it has like a theme like I'm a Goofy Goober. And it's like, but then they rock it out and they make it manly, quote unquote, to the tune of I Want to Rock.
And this was our SpongeBob portion of the Potter Than Hell podcast today.
I thought that was interesting that they used that song.
Well, I think it is too, but I was going to say it's interesting how we end up talking about different crazy shit on this podcast, which is actually kind of funny. For me, Under the Blade, actually the first album that I checked out was You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, which had just come out, and it was one of those video channels that wasn't MTV, like the one that was on USA Network, whatever the hell that was called, and I saw them. Night Flight. There you go. And they played this, and it was like, wow, look at these big ass dudes crammed in this little fucking little van going around, and they had the taste police were following them and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, this song is like friggin' slamming, and that's how like we kind of got into them, and then we picked up that album. And I want to say that Rob picked up You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, then I picked up Under the Blade. So we pretty much had them both at the same time, and it was the time where, we'd each get one and give them back and forth. And so we had like a double shot of Twisted Sister right off the bat, and we were hooked. We were hooked, and like when they first started getting into the hype for Stay Hungry to come out and stuff like that, we were like, all right, Twisted Sister. And I'll get into our feelings on that once we get that going down the road here. So, Steven, if you had to pick one song on Under the Blade, what would your pick be, and why would you pick that?
It's pretty simple for me. It's Shoot 'Em Down. Shoot 'Em Down's by far my favorite song on this record. It's got a handful of other songs that I like quite a bit, but I just love Shoot 'Em Down because I think it's probably the most straight-ahead rock song that they have on Under the Blade. I mean, it's killer.
Good pick, real good pick. All right, BC, what would you pick?
Okay, I gotta go to number 2. I'm gonna go with for some reason, it's the Day of the Rocker. I don't know, for some reason that just...
Day of the Rock.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really fancy about the song. Just, you put it on, right from...
it's kind of a cool ending to the album too, being the last track on there.
Yeah.
Like it's got, I don't know why. I don't know if it's just the word rocker in there. It always reminds me of AC/DC.
The song rocker.
Yeah. It
That
always
appears
just
on multiple
yeah,
albums.
yeah. Really. Dylan, how about you?
First off, going back to the SpongeBob thing.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, Motorhead also contributed a song to the soundtrack. It's their song "You Better Run," but it's "You Better Swim."
Okay.
Thought that was weird, but anyways.
You should have brought that up 3 weeks ago. We did Motorhead.
Well, I wasn't there for the Motorhead.
Oh, that's right.
So
The rest of us weren't up on SpongeBob.
yeah, sorry guys. Your resident SpongeBob historian was not available. So Under the Blade, the song that I tore out and thought was really good for some reason was Bad Boys of Rock and Roll. It was the first song I heard from this album because for some reason the first track was not available for me to listen to on Apple Music, so I couldn't listen to What You Don't Know Sure Can Hurt You.
Yeah.
So I just went right to Bad Boys of Rock and Roll, and
Alright.
I really liked it. I thought it was an awesome kick-ass song.
Cool. Good song. My pick for this album is definitely the album opener. What you don't know sure can't hurt you.
I wish I could listen to it.
Yeah. But I think it's just it's a great song. It's a great album opener. It's kind of like, welcome to the show, and it's got that build for the whole, and I think it sets the tone for the whole album. And it's just like we talked about before. It's just a raw album, and you could tell. I mean, these guys are fucking hungry. These guys just want to rock. But what people don't realize is what.
You referenced an album and then a song.
I know. They do.
Way to go. Way to wax poetic there.
Absolutely. See that? Poet didn't know it. But it does, and it sets the tone for the whole band until later on when it got more commercialized. But what the average guy out there didn't realize, and if you like Steven said before, if you watch that documentary, these guys ground it out for years in the clubs and just played massive shows and like record-breaking shows on like Long Island and stuff. And they went to the UK, and Lemmy kind of took them under his wing and everything. But like you don't realize. You kind of think, oh, more they put that out, but like they had a vibrant history behind them before they got this record deal. And there's albums out. We talked about them a little bit. They're called Club Days, and has a whole ton of different songs that never made it to any of these albums. And there's some good cranking shit there. So if you're in the mood to dig a little deeper into Twisted Sister and you want to hear some really rocking, and actually those songs have the raw edge that this album has. And so you might want to delve into that too. If you're any kind of fan of Twisted Sister, you probably know about these. But if you're kind of a casual fan and want to hear a little bit more, dig a little deeper, check those out. But it's kind of weird because I think the only crossover pick, I think BC was probably going to pick what Steven picked. And actually BB, I have BB's picks here, so we're not leaving him out of this episode. And his song is Run For Your Life. And so we pretty much have like we have half the album knocked down.
Yep.
in different songs. The only crossover is probably BC, but he's always ready for another pick.
My favorite songs off Under the Blade are Shoot 'Em Down, What You Don't Know Sure Can Hurt You, Under the Blade, and Bad Boys of Rock and Roll. Those are definitely my favorite songs off this record.
Yeah, they're great, and you know what? And there's songs that were staples for these guys playing them live, because I even listened to I think what was one of their last shows when one of the festivals they recorded, and a lot of the songs from the first album were on there, like more than we're probably from like our next album we're going to talk about. And our next album is what, BC? Come on.
You Can't Stop Rock and Roll.
Great album. Another not as raw sounding as the first one there. Released in May 1983 and produced by a guy named Stuart Epps, which I don't know what he ever did before, but it's a little more polished, I think, than
A coat of wax.
Under the Blade. A little coat of wax, but like a minor coat of wax, though. Nothing crazy. Like we're gonna really grab the fucking tin later on and really get the fucking wax going.
What is this metaphor we're going with?
BC started talking about wax. I don't know.
It's spray wax. It's not totally polished.
Not
it's,
turtle wax.
I don't know. BC was on vacation, so
We're not
maybe
quite
he got waxed when he was on vacation. So maybe that's what he's thinking about or something like that. Oh my God!
Dylan, apparently at
Where did that
this
come
point during this podcast, we lost Steve and BC, and we got Daniel Son and Mr. Biaggi.
Yeah.
Or something.
I was
That's
thinking
disturbing.
that, yeah.
BC's over there catching flies with 2 ink pens.
Freaking wax on, wax off.
Please don't sweep the legs of this table because
Everything will come crashing down. Not to mention the barrel spill all over the place. Which we
By the way, Cobra Kai is a really good show. It's like it's a YouTube original. That's like takes. It's like the villain from the kid.
The kid is now the.
He's now the mentor, and he's up against Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio. He still looks like he's 12.
He has aged very well.
He has. Botox will do that for you.
Okay.
All right.
Let's not disparage the name of Ralph Macchio on this podcast.
Come on. What other podcast talks about Ralph Macchio? Come on. All right. You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. Here's the track listing. Kids are back like a knife in the back. Ride to live, live to ride. I'm me, the power and the glory. We're going to make it. I've had enough. I'll take you alive. You're not alone. Suzette song, which is a Twisted Sister ballad. And You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. And Dylan, what would your pick be off of this one?
Okay, I was going to go...
First of all, I'm sorry. What's your thoughts on the album?
It's a good album. I knew a lot more songs on this one than I did on the previous one. I mean, the kids are back, and the title track are pretty, seminal Twisted Sister tracks that are played quite a bit. I was gonna pick The Kids Are Back, but I decided to go with Like a Knife in the Back. Really awesome, good song. I'm sorry I ripped it off everybody's list there. It's a good song. it's killer. It's a biting track, like a knife in the back.
All right, awesome pick. I'm going to talk about that pick for a second here. Kick-ass song. I love the lyrics in that song. I think that lyrically, it's similar to some of the lyrics in We're Not Gonna Take It. I think if you take them like the context of the song, I really like it. I like the cadence of it. Great song. Steven, what's your pick here? And what do you think about the album?
This is probably track for track my favorite Twisted Sister record. Love this record. Came out in '83. Really and truly, I think probably I go back and forth, but I think the title track, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, is probably my favorite, but I really love The Kids Are Back as well. I love Knife in the Back. And I've got a added record that has 3 bonus tracks on it, and there's a song called 4-Barrel Heart of Love that I love quite a bit as well on this record.
Yeah, that's on the re-release version.
Yeah,
I'll have to check those. Those songs I haven't checked out.
This record's great, man. Like I said, probably my favorite Twisted Sister record overall.
So what your pick was? You Can't Stop Rock and Roll?
Yeah.
Or You Can't Kill Rock and Roll?
You can't kill rock and roll.
Okay. You can't kill it. You can't, no matter how much you try.
Did I say you can't stop, or did you say it?
No, you said kill first.
Okay. Yeah, either way, you can't stop it. Even if you tried to kill it, you can't stop it. So there you go.
Can't stop. Can't you stop it? All right, excellent. BC, what's your romance with this album?
This is by my favorite Twisted Sister by a hair over Under the Blade. Like you said, lightly coat of wax on it compared to Under the Blade.
Back to the wax.
Back to the wax. Back to the wax.
Tonight's gonna be the night
Also
of wax.
wax.
But I gotta go with a backup song again, and I'm gonna go with We're Gonna Make It, just because it's like boom, boom, that fast pace and in your face, and I like the solo on it and everything. So, but that's just a typical song off that album, just in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it. It's funny too because like my initial pick was Like a Knife in the Back too. So I'm gonna say that's probably the unanimous between us guys the best song on the album because
Like a Knife in the Back. Really
that would have I was thinking I really hope no one picks I'm Me because I fucking hate that song. I think it sucks. That's a skipper for me. We're gonna make it. If Rob Kelleher was on this episode, he would be picking that song. He would be picking that song. I could 98.9 guarantee he would be picking that song. I'm gonna say, huh? We always used to rock to that. He always we always used to jam the fuck out to it. He really loves that song. And but I'm gonna stick with the same pick that Dylan has, like a knife in the back. I that's my far ahead of the rest of the pack favorite, so I can't go with the backup one on that. If I had to, it'd be like You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. And actually, I'll Take You Alive is a really good fucking song too.
Yeah.
And
the
4-barrel Heart of Love, baby.
we'll have to check that one out.
I will absolutely.
Definitely.
The thing that I wanted to say about The Kids Are Back, going back to that song, it reminds me a bit of 10 Seconds to Love. I don't know why.
What's up?
10 Seconds to Love from Motley Crue. The Kids Are Back. I think
Yeah, I get that.
it has the same kind of feel to it, and especially the one part where it's just the drums and the singing. Kind of reminds me of 10 Seconds to Love.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay.
I
I
can
love
go with
both
that.
of those songs.
I can go with that.
10 Seconds to Love is one of my favorite Crue songs, so that's
And,
maybe why I was I like
That's a
it.
great song. That's a great Crue song. I wonder if that'll be in The Dirt, which, as we're recording this, The Dirt will be released tomorrow.
And it's really weird because I'm doing a rewatch of Game of Thrones, so it's going to be really weird seeing the actor that plays Ramsay Bolton play Mick Mars. It's going to be really weird. He goes from torturing people to torturing the guitar. No, Mick Mars is the one.
No, Mick Mars.
Mick Mars
Mick Mars
entirely
is,
are
I'm not saying
talented.
anything bad about Mick Mars. I mean, torturing people with loud music, loud, rude music. And BB's pick for this album was The Kids Are Back. So he went with that song also. So just a great album, and I think this was the last of the raw, hungry, Twisted Sister.
It's ironic.
It is, and when when we talk about which the next album is going to be, Stay Hungry, and they kind of, I'm going to say, allude to that too, because they feel, once that came out, they pretty much, like it said in the song, we're going to make it. They have, but they still need to stay hungry. They still need to have that edge about them.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, and before we move on to the next part of the show here, let's talk about Twisted Sister Live. And Steven, how about you with Twisted Sister Live? What do you got going?
So my relationship with this band is really, really strange now that I think about it, because it's, I hadn't thought about it that much, because they're not a band I think about all the time until you asked me to do this episode. And you said, hey, are you a Twisted Sister fan? I said, yeah, I'm a Twisted Sister fan. They're not my top 10, but I like them. And I got in on the ground floor with Under the Blade, and I moved on from that to You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. But I never saw the band live because I lived in the Southeast, and here's the thing. I was a fan of Under the Blade. I was a fan of You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. And by the time they were done with You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, my fandom had kind of gone away with Twisted Sister. So by the time Stay Hungry came out and they hit it big, quote unquote, I wasn't really a huge fan. I thought the videos were kind of funny, but I wasn't that huge of a fan. And it was with that record that they really started being able to tour in a lot of places maybe they hadn't gotten to before. So I never got to see the band live. I never saw them live.
That's crazy. That's not crazy bad, but just unusual. But I could see the down south kind of thing, because I mean, this guy has been. He's kind of like us. Every word out of his mouth is fuck on stage, besides when he's singing. And go ahead, Steve.
Just to finish it off, but you understand what I'm saying. It's when I was into the band, they weren't toured as crazy as they did once they hit it big. And once they hit it big, I didn't really care.
You lost interest in them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, Dylan. Now go ahead.
My Twisted Sister live experience is I don't have it because I've never seen them live. I've never seen them live. I was not with you when they played M3. That was I think that was a year before I jumped on the M3 bandwagon, The one time I remember, I think the first time I heard a live recording of them live was the one CD where it's bleeped out, like
The Walmart version.
yeah, the Walmart version. And I remember you being extremely pissed off about it. You're like, the whole point of the band is that they curse all the time.
I wasn't happy. I'm just against censorship.
But like Twisted Sister in general, I mean, I heard the usuals on the radio all the time. Like We're Not Gonna Take It was like rock and roll all night. Just everybody knew that song. I Want to Rock was the same way.
Yeah.
And then I remembered when Twisted Christmas came out, and that would become part of our Christmas tradition is that you would put it on while we're opening presents, or we're putting ornaments on the tree, or we're at my aunt's house. And
That is our tradition. I always put that album on when we decorate the tree.
and
Going to church. Oh.
And I just find it funny that they cover "O Come All You Faithful," since We're Not Gonna Take It is the same exact rhythm of that song. That's really meta of them, and I'm really happy they did that. And then they just put in the solo for "We're Not Gonna Take It" in there. And that's awesome.
BC, what's your live relationship with these guys here?
Of course, we saw them at M3. I said a few years ago.
They were the headliners for the first M3.
First M3. Okay, I was going to say I remember. I don't remember what year this.
Yep.
And I'm drawing a blank because I've been to so many concerts. I remember seeing them outside. I want to say with Lita Ford and somebody else. I have visions of
Were you at the Allentown show with Rat?
Yeah, okay, that's it. I think.
Lita Ford didn't play.
No, I remember Lita Ford playing, so it can't be that.
So they may have played somewhere in New York
Hey.
outside.
It ain't no big thing.
It ain't no big thing.
Ain't no big thing.
I didn't play.
Well, I know what I like.
The first time I saw Twisted Sister was that concert that we were just talking about. It was Rat was the headliner. Out of the Cellar was out. Stay Hungry was out, and Lita Ford was, I think, Out for Blood was out.
Was that the fairgrounds?
And it was at Allentown Fairgrounds.
That's
but
it.
Lita Ford's bus broke down, and she wasn't able to make it in time to the show. But she did come out and play a song with Rat, I believe, at the end of the show. But we saw Twisted Sister there, and it was like, talk about like high energy, like Dee Snider, just like total kick-ass front man. The band was energetic, jumping around, and you see Mark Mendoza up there and talk about he was like a bigger version of Gene Simmons when he looked like that fucking lady from the Golden Girls back when Asylum was out. He was like a bigger version of that.
B. Arthur.
And it was like, yeah, B. Arthur. So, but I mean, they were just such a great band live and just like so energetic. And then actually I got to see them again on that tour again. They opened up for Dio down at the Spectrum the night that they filmed the special at the Spectrum for the Last in Line tour. And I specifically remember maybe about like 4 songs in, like Dee Snider came out and he's like, "What the fuck? I can't fucking curse anymore," or something like that. And he like totally cursed even more. And it was just a fantastic, but just like a great high energy band. And up until the last time we saw them, they played M3, I want to say probably 4 or 5 years ago, and still have that energy. You could tell these guys are the big boys out there. And
Bad Boys of Rock and Roll.
Bad Boys of Rock and Roll, you know.
They play with what's the name on drums?
Mike Portnoy.
Mike Portnoy.
And actually, well, we're recording this on the 21st of March, and yesterday, the 20th of March, 2015, is the date that AJ Peril passed away. And rest in peace, AJ. We got to see him many times, and actually, AJ Peril played in a local band that used to play around here. They were called Archangel. Their drummer quit. AJ Peril played with them, and
He's 5'5".
oh yeah, he's like 5 foot tall and 5 foot wide. He's built. When they say someone's built like a fire plug, that's this guy. Just like totally solid guy, and a solid looking guy, solid drummer. And it was a sad thing when he passed away. And Mike Portnoy stood in for him when they did the last couple shows the Twisted Sister played, and apparently they are totally done. And as you guys know, Dee Snider had that For the Love of Metal album out last year that is fucking kick ass. And so they're the legacy's still going on out there. So rest in peace, AJ. And before we continue on to the next couple albums, we're gonna do a little hidden gem. All right, we're gonna do a couple hidden gems here. They don't even have to be hidden, as we discussed several times in this podcast. They could be a gem. It doesn't have to be hidden or something that you haven't heard for a while or whatever. And Steven, our esteemed guest this evening, what do you got for us?
Well, boys, I like to turn you on to new music, and so for tonight's hidden gem, I am going to turn you on to a band called Devil's Train. Now,
love them.
You've heard of them.
That's
a bonus because not a lot of people know about this band. And I would urge people to go check out either the debut or just the second record, which is just titled Two. Yeah. Great band. Great solid records. 2 really, really solid records. I'll be surprised if any of you guys over there listening to this band you don't like them. I'd be real surprised.
They are kick ass. Actually, when we did our Fire Songs episode, I picked one of their songs from the episode. And actually, I actually listened to the second album last week when I was on vacation. Love those guys, and I'm not sure how they're not like getting on tours with other bands and stuff like that because they are excellent. That is a fucking excellent pick. So definitely check them out. If you like the bands that we talk about on this podcast, you guys will absolutely love Devil's Train. Awesome. Good pick, my friend. BC.
Since I've been doing nothing but overdosing on Dream Theaters anyway. But there's something that always pops up for no rhyme or reason. It's not really a hidden gem. I'm going to say Burn and Rain. I mean, here's a band that a lot of people surprisingly have never heard of. But then there's a lot of people who have heard of them. So, I mean, to me, it's like, if you haven't heard of these guys, check them out. I mean, they're just...
Doug Aldrich.
But, I mean...
Here you go, first of the show.
But, there's just smoke in that band.
Excellent band, and I talked about them a little bit when we did the Kiss episode, Kiss Cruise episode, because I got to speak with Doug Aldrich real quick and told him that I was telling Rob how kick-ass Burning Rain was, and then, Doug said, oh, hey, well, we got a new album coming out in March, which is, the album will be out tomorrow, I think.
The 22nd?
Either tomorrow or next Friday. So it'll be out the 22nd or the 29th. I think it is the 29th. So
it'll be out by the time this episode's out.
Yeah. It'll be out today or last week. So, good pick, though. Burning Rain is such a great... But, it's like... You listen to the Dio stuff with Doug Aldrich. You listen to the Whitesnake stuff with Doug Aldrich. You listen to Burning Rain. He has that stamp that kind of it's Doug Aldrich. Like, if you hear Zakk Wylde play, you know that's Zakk. But if you're any kind of fan of Doug Aldrich, you hear him play, you know that's him. And also Dead Daisies also. Cool. All right. Dylan.
So I'm pulling an audible. I was going to talk about System of a Down because I was listening to them today and they're awesome. But I decided to go a different route. I don't know if these guys are necessarily hidden either, but they might be hidden to no, I'm not doing System of a Down, so stop writing System of a Down. I literally just got done saying I'm not doing System of a Down. Wake up! Wake up! My God. Okay. You want to? That's Chop Suey, and it got nominated.
Fucking terrible.
That is Chop Suey. That got nominated.
If you hear it, you're saying it the rest of the time.
I know.
That got nominated for a Grammy.
I mean, singing it for 3 days now.
It lost to Tool, though, Dad, so I'm sorry.
Oh, Tool.
Okay, so the band that I'm actually doing, it's a band called Wolf Mother. You might have heard one of their songs, The Joker and the Thief. It was on The Hangover. Woman, that was on Guitar Hero. The problem that I had with Greta Van Fleet was that they weren't Wolf Mother. Because Wolf Mother is like a more rocking version of Greta Van Fleet, I would say. They have a little more oomph behind them, and the guitar work is phenomenal. Andrew Stockdale, who's the lead singer / guitarist, is an amazing...
I know that name, though.
Yeah, he was on Slash's first solo album with all the different...
That's probably where I know.
By the Sword, I think the name of the song was, that he featured on. But the phenomenal band. They have a bunch of different albums out. The 2 that I love the most are the self-titled debut album and Cosmic Egg. That was the first one that I bought from them back in 2009. The Violence of the Sun is a really good song on there, and New Moon Rising, California Queen. They're rocking. They're really good, like 70s inspired band. Yeah, that's them. They're great. You've absolutely heard one of their songs before. If I was to play it for you, you would know it.
Okay.
But Wolf Mother, my hidden gem.
Wolf Mother.
Yeah, Steven, you said you know them, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Joker and the Thief. I love that song. They've got a handful of other songs that I like quite a bit as well.
Well, I will have to check them out then because
I'll play it
I've heard
after
the name. I've heard the name before,
I'll
but
play it after the episode.
not really sure what they sound like. And my gem this week's not going to be a hidden band, but it's going to be a live album. Came out in 1985. It's by the Canadian band Triumph. It's called Stages. Kick-ass band. Here's a band that Steven, have you ever seen Triumph live?
I have not.
Oh.
It's another band that I've never seen live.
I don't think anyone else here has either.
I
got to see them once. I saw them on the Sport of Kings tour, and actually that's when they featured. They actually had another guitar player on stage, and that was Phil X. That is actually now the guitar player that has taken over for Richie Sambora in Bon Jovi. Remember the days when Bon Jovi was a rock band, you guys? Do you remember that?
I do.
I long for those days. And anyway,
Never coming back.
I know they're done. They're
Wanted,
done.
Dead or Alive.
They're
Bon
they're
Jovi's rock career.
they're a country hybrid band now.
And they're done.
But this is a great live album. Comes out with When the Lights Go Down, Never Surrender, Allied Forces on there, Magic Power, Rock and Roll Machine, Lay It on the Line. Just a great album. There's a couple studio tracks on there, Mind Games and Empty Inside. They're okay, but just great, straightforward, hard rock, and just a fantastic band. And if you want to check out another live album, they have an album out of their performance at the US Festival. And they're just a kick-ass band, and I wish they would do some festivals and stuff. I think they played Sweden Rocks about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and that was the first they played together in a couple decades, I think. But Triumph is just a great band, great live band, and they were one of the first bands that had like the big like lasers, and like they had a very laser, yeah, like
Laser.
Kiss like effects and stuff like that in their shows.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to play again though, because
No, they're done.
I saw an interview with, or I heard an interview with the band, and they were talking about, they're all still real good friends, but they were talking about that drummer who also sings. He's one of the lead singers in the band. He said he hasn't played drums in years. He said there's no way he could play drums.
Yeah, Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great voice too, and Gilmore and Rick Emmett do the singing for those guys, and they were just a great band. And you know what? And I'm glad they're kind of just saying, you know what, that's it, we're done. Not saying okay, we're done, and then come back, and all that kind of shit. And so we can just enjoy the music that they put out. And they were just a great band. And if you want to check out a really cool album, it's the only album they did without Rick Emmett. It's called Edge of Excess. I know you know that album. Kick-ass album. What?
No, I do love Gilmore's show, The Gilmore Girls.
The Gilmore Girls?
Sebastian Bach was on it for a bit.
Dude. All right. So there's our gems, you guys. Hidden and otherwise. Devil's Train for Steven. Kick-ass. Just a kick-ass hard rock band. Burning Rain for BC. Same thing. Kick-ass hard rock band. Wolf Mother. I can't really say whether they kick-ass or not.
And that's one word, Wolf Mother.
Wolf Mother. Okay. I have it down as 2.
Compound word.
So no hyphens in there or slash. It's just the Wolf Mother one.
Although he
word.
was on a Slash album.
He was, okay. And Triumph Stages for me. So you guys check those out. Let us know what you think. If you guys have one you want us to check out, and it's actually true that we actually do that because Mark Arnold wanted us to check out the Flotsam and Jetsam album. We did. We did the whole segment of the show on there. Fucking kicked ass.
Very good album.
So if you want us to check something out, let us know, and we will do it.
Yeah, we'll listen to System of a Down if you want us to.
Out of format. Out of format.
Out
of format. Oh,
They're
God.
not out of format. They just suck.
No,
They
are,
do. They
they're,
blow.
They're very much in format.
They just suck.
They're metal. They're a metal group, Dad.
Wake up.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
They are. They are considered a metal group.
Well, maybe you guys could do a System of the Down episode for March Madness next year when I go
Hey,
on
just wait for
vacation
my
again.
birthday episode.
I still retain veto powers here. All right.
Wake up.
Let's get back into the show. Next up, the epic album
Seminal album.
Seminal album, May 10th, 1984. 36 minutes and 58 seconds. Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry.
Feel the fire.
Feel the fire. Now what are we getting out now, BC? What are we getting out?
We're getting a buffer out and starting to really
He's really grinding that wax in there,
get
right?
the shine to a brilliant shine.
I'm very uncomfortable by this wax metaphor that keeps happening.
I'm not talking about body wax.
But I'll
I'm
tell you
talking
what,
about bar wax.
it's a good album. It's a hard rocking album. I mean, they come out. Here's the track listing: Stay Hungry, We're Not Gonna Take It, Burn in Hell, The Horror, Terrier, The Beginning, Captain Howdy, and Street Justice. Flip the album over. I Want to Rock, The Price, Don't Let Me Down, The Beast, and SMF. BC, what does SMF mean? I don't know. What does that mean?
It's the license plate for my Harley.
Smart mother.
It actually is.
And it's sick motherfucker.
All right. It's about the sick motherfucking fans of Twisted Sister, which is a really cool song, great live. And BC, what's your relationship with this album?
This is the first one I heard at a time when that time frame there's so much
The saturation has begun.
and these guys caught my eye, I guess you could say, and then I listened to it. I'm like, yeah, okay, and then like you said, I looked into, and to me, I love this one, but I was totally drawn to the first two. But this one's very good, and like I said, this is the one that I don't know if you want to say breakthrough for them.
Yeah,
I'd say
I
pretty
would
much,
say
yeah.
This was the
Commercially
Perfect timing between them and MTV.
MTV, and they took MTV with that
music video.
Thank you. With what the guy's name? I can't think of his name.
Mark,
What do you want to do?
Mark Metcalf.
Mark Metcalf,
Yeah.
the maestro.
The Maestro.
The Maestro. He was the master.
Niedermeyer.
in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Niedermeyer on Animal House.
I mean, and like I said, this got me into them, and the rest is history.
BC, drop and give me 20.
You're all.
You're all worthless a week. Cool though. So, what do you think? What song would you pick here?
I don't know if I can pick this one. Can I do the horror? Since it's
Yeah, that's
two,
one.
it's technically two songs, but classified as one.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Absolutely.
I just love those Captain Howdy. Just the way. Hello, nice. I mean, I love that, and I mean, of course, there's some other ones that I'm gonna refrain. But Captain Howdy's the one that,
And that's what the Strangeland movie came from.
and that's the character.
Captain Howdy with Dee Snider in the Strangeland movie. Stephen, have you seen the Strangeland movie? Did you watch that?
I think I probably saw it ages ago, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. I remember very little about it.
Stephen, how about you? Stay Hungry.
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, all right. So, like I said, I kind of lost interest at this point. I mean, if I had to pick a song off here that was probably ones I liked Stay Hungry. I liked I Want to Rock, and I liked SMF. That's about it.
And that's all he's got to say about that. All right, Dylan.
Why don't you go first? Because I think you're going to pick one song, and if you pick that song, I'll pick another one.
Okay.
So I don't want to take it from you.
I like this album. I do. I hate The Price, though. I think that song sucks ass. I fucking hate that song. And I was so glad, although I shouldn't say it, I'm so glad someone didn't pick this song on our Ballads episode, which I'm sure I will be seeing it on the next one. It's just, it's terrible. Fucking terrible. And that's the one, that's the piss song for Twisted Sister. The Price. I gotta say,
The Twisted Pisser.
Twisted Pisser song. I gotta say the song I'm gonna pick off here is The Beast.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Beast is probably, definitely the heaviest song on this album. And I think it's great that I love the background vocals in it. They're very like, just like.
Is the Day of the Rocket.
Huh?
The heaviest song is the Day of the Rocket.
Yeah, it's excellent. I think it's fucking excellent, and it's a great like lead into SMF, which is the last song on there. And Dylan, you thought I was going to pick Burn in Hell, didn't
I thought you were going to pick Burn in Hell, yeah.
But no, that would probably be my second or third pick. But I love The Beast. The Beast is just a fucking beast of a song. Fucking excellent. All right, Dylan, let me know your pick.
This was the album that I knew every song from. I had listened to this. I actually picked this album for like one of the best sides album. The first half of the album is perfect. There's not a bad song on that first half of the album. And I'm definitely gonna pick Burn in Hell. It has that menace to it. And I love the background vocals in it. and how like it goes down the first part of the
It goes
like,
down,
free.
down,
and then the second time free. Like I like that it changes up and it has that cool intro, that moody intro. And this is the first time I feel like he's channeling Alice Cooper a bit. And there's other songs later on that he has an almost Alice-like delivery, I think. And this one has a little bit.
Yeah, you
tinge to
do
it.
get that kind of Alice Cooper kind of vibe off of some of the spoken word stuff on there.
But I'm going to be completely honest. My second song would be We're Not Going to Take It. And I know it's basic to do. But that song is so kick-ass for being a popular song. The solo in it is one of my favorite solos. It's a simple solo, but it's really effective.
I like the lyrics in We're Not Gonna Take It. Your life is tried and jaded, boring and confiscated. That's just like awesome fucking lyrics.
I get pumped up every time I hear it. And actually, one thing that I do like from the movie, what's it? Is it Rock of Ages? Is that the musical?
Yes. I never watched it.
There's a medley of We Built This City by Starship, and We're Not Going to Take It. And it actually kind of works. And it's kind of catchy. But
I'll have to take your word for it.
That's a great song. It's just, I think
it's overplayed, absolutely.
overplayed.
But like,
it's on what? Car commercials?
it never fails to get me pumped up when I hear it. Like that drum intro is so iconic, and
And the thing that kind of ruins that song for me is, and I don't talk politics on this podcast, but politicians, whether you love them or hate them, whoever it is, want to use this song. Like, leave Twisted Sister out of it.
see, and I feel like this is an anti-establishment song. This is
Right.
the people rising up, and I think it's a little ironic when politicians will use it because it's. I mean, like, politicians always try to be, I'm of the people, but they're categorically not. So it's interesting that they use that song to do it when it is actually like a rallying cry for
injustice.
For the downtrodden, the bullied, like to rise up against the bullies.
That's right. And you can attribute the polishedness of this album to Tom Werman, that was directed some of the Motley Crue albums, and it's an album of its time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is. But I do have to say that the price and Don't Let Me Down are kind of two of the stinkers on this album. Don't Let Me Down, I think, is
too.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
It's not the
sucks.
Beatles song, so
It sucks. So
don't let me
To,
down.
to be clear, Tom Werman didn't direct any of the Motley Crue albums. He produced
no,
them. though.
produced them.
He did-
Did I say direct?
he did-
Did I say
He
direct?
did direct.
He produced them.
I thought you
Okay.
were going with like a music video thing, so
He's
I
the
thought
Steven Spielberg of music. Okay. Yeah, my bad on that one. Tom Werman. Producer Tom Werman. Okay. All right. Now that we got that straightened out. Now we take a little turn. Now Twisted Sister, they're at the height of their...
I was trying to do the
BC, come out and play. This used to happen. I used to go up to BC when we were kids. His mom would be there, like, Judy, can BC come out and play? Actually, BC and I weren't friends when we were little kids. But anyway, so they're at the height of their popularity, and now I think they kind of were like, "What? How do we top this? What the fuck is next?" And what's next is come out and play.
Come Out and Play.
Dylan,
Off of the
what?
off
For
of
the movie
The Warriors.
The Warriors. Yep. Dylan, what do you think about Come Out and Play?
Come Out and Play was the second most listened to album for me, purely because of one song, and I'm glad that I get to go first here because I didn't want the song stolen from me.
And I'm going to tell you what he's going to pick too.
Do you want to say it on three? 1, 2, 3. Be
cruel to your school.
It has Alice Cooper, Billy Joel, Brian said, like it's
Brian Setzer.
it's an amazing lineup, and it's such
Clarence Clemens.
It's a rock and roll song. It is straight from like the 50s, and actually this album for the most part feels very rock and rollish to me, like Leader of the Pack, the cover by the Shangri-Las. Is that who originally did it?
Yes.
Like they have a very much 50s vibe from this album, and I really enjoy it. It's a different path for them, absolutely, but I like it. It's them going in a different direction, and I think it works, especially Be Cool to Your School. I love the interplay between Alice and Dee. It works really, really well. And it's funny that they're both picked like girls' names, and they duet it together.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
And they have like the nice little improv banter back, like take it out, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's fun, and it's a John, and like I love the I wanna know, like the background vocals are like. Really,
It actually
song.
sounds like they're having a good time. It really does.
And it makes me have a good time listening to it.
It does. Okay, Mr. Michael, what's your thoughts on Come Out and Play? Even though I know you've checked out at the time, so I hope you at least check this album out in preparation here. What do you think?
Of course I did. So, top tracks off this record are the title track, Come Out and Play, You Want What We Got, and Looking Out for Number One. Those are my three tunes off this record. And I feel like this record and Love Is for Suckers are sort of cousin records, sister records, whatever you want to call it. I really was turned off when this record come out with that whole Leader of the Pack thing. I hated that. That Cruel to Your School. I just thought that shit sucked. Period. End of story.
Okay.
Because I mean, you have to see it from my perspective, which is I'm hearing this shit and thinking, what happened to shoot them down and you can't kill rock and roll? That's what I was doing.
Right. All right, BC.
Yeah, when this came out, I mean, I liked the album cover, but by this time I was going in so many other avenues, and after listening to the album, I liked it, but it didn't really hold me. Is that the word I'm looking for? Because I was delving into.
There was so much other stuff.
There was so much other stuff out there that just was. And, I mean, I've come back to this album and have more of a enjoyment for it now, but back then, Leader of the Pack, and now I like that song, but back then when it first came out, you're like, like Steven said, like, what happened to the first?
What happened to Destroyer?
Destroyer, and, you know.
Give me a song.
I'm gonna go with the title track. It's very upbeat. Come on.
Hey, BC, did I understand you correctly in saying that you wanted this record to coddle you?
What's that?
Did I understand you correctly? You said you wanted this record to coddle you?
No.
Catch, right?
It did catch me.
Oh, it didn't catch you. I thought you were wanting to snuggle with this record. I was trying to understand.
That's where the wax comes in.
Oh Lord! Now we're taking a turn for the worst.
Absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, I enjoyed this album. I like it. I totally agree with you guys. Leader of the Pack. That is, to me, like Kiss doing Any Way You Want It. This is like Kiss doing Then She Kissed Me. Like, I just want to run into the fucking street when I hear this song. It's terrible. I don't like the original version. I hate this version even more because
the motorcycle brooms weren't in the room.
No, I think it's just fucking terrible. It's a bad song to begin with. Like, even Twisted Sister can't make it fucking good. However,
I like it.
When Twisted Sister toured for this album, they played like, I think, 4 or 5 shows. And I was actually able to see one of the shows. One of the shows that they played was up in Binghamton, New York at the Broome County Arena. And Dokken opened up for them on the Under Lock and Key tour. Dokken came out. They were firing on all cylinders. They kicked fucking ass. And then Twisted Sister came out. Their stage set was so goddamn cool. It was like a friggin' slum somewhere. It had a abandoned burning car on stage. The drum kit was all like fucking garbage cans.
That's cool.
And they had little fires burning on stage and like graffitied walls and stuff like that.
Did the Baseball Furies show up?
The Baseball Furies did not show up.
Oh.
But it was it was great. So I don't know why. I think the record company didn't push them or what, but the show was great. They fucking kicked ass. They played for, I'd say probably just under 2 hours, I would say. But the thing I remember the most is they played most of the show, then they went, I couldn't even tell you what the set list is. They went off, and then right before they came back on, all the lights are real dim on the stage, and all you hear is Dee going, You want what we like the intro to You Want What We Got. I know what you got. Like however that goes in the beginning, and like it was just he did it like twice with no one on the stage. It was so fucking cool. Then the band like came right back out and rocked that song, and I thought it was great. I think there's some really good songs in this album. I title track like you guys said is great. You Want What We Got is great. But the song that I'm gonna have to pick on here is I Believe in Rock and Roll. Mm-hmm. I think that this is the song that. Paul Stanley copied off of when he did I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll, and I really think that this is the better version of that song, even though that is one of my favorite Kiss songs. But I really like the version of that, and songs like Kill or Be Killed is fucking excellent. And I'm like Dylan, I love Be Cruel to Your School, however corny or whatever it is. I love the back and forth between Alice and Dee, and I think it's. And I the reason I like that song is because I don't think it's forced.
It
feels natural. It feels like, you know, BC, when me and you actually sing a song together, like it's like two friends singing a song. It's not, okay, I'm just getting on this album just to get on it. You know what I mean? We're interacting and we're having a good time here. It's not forced at all. And I think you could really feel that in the song.
You could compare the Leader of the Pack.
Yeah, and
Leader of the Pack is fucking terrible.
I think I'm just a sucker for songs with jaunty piano in it, especially when it's played by Billy Joel. It's just like it's got that like rock and roll piano that like Nothing to Lose has that I really love. And
yeah, it's a rock and roll song. It's not a hard rock song. It's not a metal song, but it's I like it. I enjoy this album.
Got the sax in it.
There's an extra song on the CD and the cassette version, King of Fools, which is kind of sucky too.
I liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was a good album closer.
But I mean, there's some really good stuff on there. I think I don't care for the production on the album when you listen to it compared to a lot of stuff that's out, but I think there's some quality stuff on there, and it's a shame that they didn't get to tour more for that album because I would really like for people that really like Twisted Sister to have seen that tour because it was cool. It would have been really great if they could have just continued with that, but you know. Hey, it's called the music business for a fucking reason. All right, our final album. We're getting out a big 55-gallon fucking barrel of fucking wax on this one, BC.
Lots of wax for this.
We're getting extra wax on this one.
Commercial buffer.
This was actually supposed to be a Dee Snider solo album, and the record company kind of pushed it to make it a Twisted Sister album, which I think they probably should have just let it be a Dee Snider album. But they, you know, the last album was like a fucking bomb, so I think they wanted to try to revamp and get something out there. And they totally missed the mark. It came out on August 13th, 1987. And this is now, everything is really just, everybody's out there grabbing for that friggin', you know, that platinum record, that, you know, getting that extra case of Aquanet delivered backstage and shit. I'll give my thoughts on the album when it's my turn to go. BC, what do you think about Love Is for Suckers? Are you a sucker for Love, BC?
I was not a sucker for this. By the time this came out, I guess you would consider checked out on Twisted Sister. Like you said, 87, and this album was definitely in the front cart of the roller coaster going downhill, I think. For the whole music scene, I mean, it was getting to the point where
we're right almost to the top.
Almost to the top, and this album was leading the roller coaster there. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I was checked out, but if I was going to go with anything off this album, probably the first song, Wake Up the Sleeping Giant. I mean, that's the closest thing to anything older Twisted Sister, I think.
Okay.
Everything else is very polished with the 55-gallon barrel wax.
Okay, Steven.
All right, so I'm really reaching for this one.
He's reaching.
But I thought there were a couple of decent pop rock tunes on this record. But let me ask you this. The song Tonight, I think Twisted Sister does a really hell of a job doing their best Thin Lizzy impression on this song. Did you guys, are you familiar with this song Tonight on this record?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it does really have like this blazing twin guitar solo kind of thing going on in the beginning that Reminded me a lot of Thin Lizzy. I thought it was a decent song. Wake Up, I think it's the lead-off track, Wake Up, The Sleeping Giants, Love Is for Suckers, and I'm So Hot for You. Just really, at best, okay songs off this record.
Yeah, because I mean, the word pop and Twisted Sister in my book don't go together.
They do not go together.
Yeah.
They are not peanut butter and chocolate. All right, Dylan.
I had never listened to this album before. I had always heard horror stories like, oh, this is Twisted Sister's, worst album, and they really went downhill from this one. And no wonder they dropped off the face of the earth. And I didn't mind it. I kind of liked it. It's different, absolutely, and it's not what I would immediately associate with Twisted Sister. But I like the album. I think it's a decent album, but the songs are pretty catchy. They're not like Twisted Sister songs, but they're good. They're performed well. I enjoyed them. Tonight was one of my picks, but Love Is for Suckers as well. They were two tracks that I really imprinted on. I also liked Hot Love. I thought the chorus was catchy. It's a catchy chorus, and I like catchy choruses. But it's a different album for them, absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and Joe Franco drums on this album. AJ Pero does not. Just to throw that out there. Before I go on with my thing here, here's some of the albums that came out in 1987 to kind of give you a kind of an overview of what was going on out there. Y&T Contagious, White Lion Pride. What else we got here? Let me see.
And that was it.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
No, but there's some crazy shit that came out. The Sabotage Hall of the Mountain King came out that year. What's that? White Snake album was out, the 87 album. Pretty Maid's Future World, which is fucking kick-ass, by the way.
Among the Living.
Among the Living. Girls, Girls, Girls was out.
Appetite for Destruction.
Appetite for Destruction. BC Visual Lies was out from Lizzie Borden.
Pleasures of the Flesh. Exodus.
Keel self-titled was out. So there was a ton of shit out that
Hysteria,
year.
Permification.
So for
That's what it's at.
yeah, so for someone that it was even a Twisted Sister fan and kind of like didn't like come out and play, for them to pick this album over all the other popular bands and shit that was coming out, I think was kind of a stretch for them to think that someone's going to really get into this album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah,
This is a good
it's
year.
not bad. Like if you listen to it now,
fine
you're like,
thing.
okay, it's it's not terrible, but it's the most untwisted sister like Twisted Sister album. And I'm gonna say the song that I actually really like the song. I Want This Night to Last Forever. I like the background in it, but I like that the choruses and the solo in it is really good. There's not a real lot of standout. Like Wake Up the Sleeping Giant is I think that song was put in the right spot because it's really the only like really rocking song on there.
That's the most Twisted
And that was
Sister.
the only song that when they were doing their last round of shows that they want, people were like, oh, play something from Love Is for Suckers. So that was the only one that they played, which I think was a smart thing to do. So, but you guys out there, what are your favorite Twisted Sister songs? What got you into Twisted Sister? Where do you think that they went astray? Do you love Is for Suckers? I want someone to comment back to us. I think the Twisted Sister Love Is for Suckers is their best album. I don't have high hopes for that. Not at all. But I definitely
Not if you're a self-respecting rock and roll fan.
That's true. Unless it's maybe the only album you heard from them. And also, Helix Wild in the Streets was out that year too. Absolutely, as BC just pointed out to me.
Faster Pussycat.
Faster Pussycat, self-titled, yeah. Like I said, it was you were getting into that oversaturation time of the rock scene at that point. So you guys, there's Twisted Sister. So we got one song at least from each guy here for every album, and hope we touched on them a little bit. We can maybe do another little Twisted Sister thing down the road. And let's go around the table one more time, and we'll say thank yous and good nights and plug our stuff. And Steven, thank you once again for spending time with us here, and welcome back to Dry Land.
You dudes know it's always a pleasure to have fun and talk rock and roll with you guys.
It's always a pleasure to have you. I was a little disappointed when you said you were maybe not going to be able to do this tonight, but then when you texted me back said I could do it, I was very happy.
Yeah, let it be known that I blew off Red Dragon Cartel tonight for this.
The new album's not that good, anyways.
I would have liked to have seen Jake. I don't mind the new record. I like the new record, but I just because I had this this thing with my nose, I didn't want to go out in public and rather talk rock and roll with you boys.
Awesome. We appreciate it.
They're a Dragon Cartel. I mean, music-wise, I like it, but
For some reason, the songs don't catch me on that album.
They're not catchy enough for me for some reason, but whatever. Again, thank you for coming on, Steven. And hopefully soon we get to do some more talking rock and roll face-to-face.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Steven. We always love having you on the episode, if not to keep other Steve in check, to have some good commentary on some good music. As for the good music, Twisted Sister, I'm really glad that I got to listen to a lot of these albums because I had not heard a lot of these songs. Just growing up inundated with all of the popular Twisted Sister songs. It was cool to hear some of the lesser known ones and bring a spotlight to them, even though I picked some pretty standard ones, I think. But I mean, there's still
They're
some
popular
really,
for a reason.
Yeah, there's still some really good songs in their catalog, so check them out if you haven't before.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody out there for listening and spending a chunk of your valuable time, your busy lifetimes with us, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And like I said, if you guys want us to check something out, give us a shout. We will check it out, and you could.
That was a nice rhyme.
You like that? Boy, boom! I'm clicking them tonight. But seriously, thank you guys out there. We appreciate it. You will be able to check out a lot of these songs we talked about tonight on our Spotify playlist that will be on the bottom of the. There'll be a link on the bottom of the show, and we want to thank Steven for coming on, and check out the Growin Up Rock Podcast. Those guys do a kick-ass show, and I'm just going to give a little hint. There's going to be something really kind of cool coming up that we're doing with these guys that you will be seeing very soon. So look for it. It's going to be different, and it's going to be very, very cool. What do you think, Steven, without giving anything away, which I know you won't?
Well, I'll go so far as to say you might be hearing something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much seeing it.
You will be seeing also, if you think about our conversation before.
That's true. You're right. You're right about that.
But mostly hearing.
It's an audio medium.
That's true. So keep an ear and an eye out there for something, and very, very soon. So we want to thank you guys again. We will catch you next time, and there will be a next time.